Excited to be here at training camp. Excited to see all of your faces. Time to get going. All right, let's have at it.
With Tyler, we saw a couple throws he had to adjust to today, but just the focus and his ability to make catches when the ball's not necessarily in like the exact spot it's supposed to be.
Yeah, looking at him for the draft, something we thought was a real strength of his was his hands, his ability to focus, concentrate, make those tough catches. He's a very uniquely talented, uniquely skilled young man, and that's something that he's done really, really well. At the same time, we're still coaching him on a lot of different finer points of understanding sort of how those windows close tightly in the NFL and how you got to be great at that. You can't relax even for 1 second. He's like I said, uniquely physically talented and really, really good at those types of things. And, that's what you need in this league. Coverage is going to be tight. The passes are going to have to be in different areas. You're going to have to make some of those tough, strong-handed catches and really focus on finishing those things. He's had a nice start, had a nice day at it today, and we'll give him plenty more reps, I'm sure.
How good of a challenge is it to go against Lou's defense when you're evaluating these two quarterbacks and making a decision?
Yeah, it's good. We're facing a lot of tight coverage out there at receiver. They're pressing up. They're running tightly with our receivers, which makes the quarterbacks really have to deliver the ball exactly where they want to, because a lot of times that DB is right in position to make a play if you don't throw the ball accurately. So it's been really good from that standpoint. Schematically, we're a couple of installations in. We've got a little bit of the scheme in, but more of it's coming, which means more of it's coming from Lou and those guys on defense too. So we're going to have a bunch of different looks, different blitzes, different fronts coming at us. I'm sure you'll see it here soon. We're trying to get ready for it here soon. So all that stuff makes you better, right? It's that old iron sharpens iron type of thought process. But the more varied looks we can get, the tighter coverage looks we can get, it's going to be better for all of us, but really good for the quarterbacks and the receivers.
Does that force the quarterbacks to maybe be a little more on it in terms of the protection schemes?
It does. I mean, it's the entire protection unit, which oftentimes in this league is O-line, running back, quarterback. Different guys are making different decisions within how you want to do your protections. But, yeah, those centers up front, that offensive line up front, the quarterbacks and the running backs all have to be really, really tuned in. Every training camp you go against your own defense, you have to set a sort of training camp rules, and you get to work, and we have these million-play walkthroughs back there where they're bringing every blitz they can draw up, and we have to really work through that. We have to be sharp at the center position, but we have to be really sharp quarterback also. That's right.
When you're going through training camp, during a game week, if there's a guy like Ward out there, maybe you're like, hey, know where he is, and maybe just be a little, maybe don't throw it over there. In training camp, do you tell the quarterbacks, like, maybe take that a little bit out of your head a little bit? Or?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, we're teaching and installing plays. We're getting ready to run our plays ourselves. So a lot of times, you got this set of plays that you're learning, teaching, installing. The guys are going to go run them. We're not going to specialize who's where a lot of times. Now, at quarterback, a big part of playing quarterback is evaluating opportunities. Am I going to throw that? Am I not going to throw that? Sometimes within a pass play, we might have a one-on-one opportunity, and they have to make a decision. Am I going to work that, or am I going to work this three-man scheme over here? They're going to take that into account. You're not going to stop those guys from taking that into account because they want to get completions, make big plays, have success, all that. But within the grand scheme of things, we are running our offense and getting it installed and getting it taught. We're trying to let all our guys sort of run all the routes. It's a great time of year to see who's best at what route and really give everybody a fair shake at it. Sometimes you get into the season, you really focus on specialty things for different guys that they do really, really well. This time of year, we try to sort of let everybody get their reps at everything and see how it falls. So, yeah, we'll throw the ball at whoever, and but as you go, those quarterbacks sort of start figuring that out, and they start sort of maneuvering at different areas.
Jim Bob, now that you've had a chance to work with Tyler for a bit, does he remind you of any other tight end in this league?
I hate to play the remind you game. He's so, he's a young player, and we haven't even seen him in pads, which I think is going to be a real strength of his. I think when he gets to play football in pads, the extra elements of his game are really going to come alive. Right now, we talk about it every year in this setting. Offensive line, running back, tight end, in those physical sort of situations, you don't really get to work every aspect of what you're going to end up doing on Sundays. But here in a few days we will, and I think Tyler Warren, that's going to really, really help him. I'll hold away from the comparison game, but we're excited about his development. We're excited about the direction he's headed. He's working really hard. We're going to need to keep that going.
How do you coach up an instance of, like, today, Anthony's interception? Probably wasn't the wrong read, but it was just the throw wasn't necessarily there. Do you have to spend much time on something like that?
Yeah, we'll go back and talk about it. Honestly, he came up to me just a little bit, just a couple minutes before I got over here, and he was asking me about that exact play, and we sort of talked it through. We worked a new motion on the play, and we were having to work through how that looks from his standpoint. It's the time of camp where it's very important that we protect the ball in our offense, but as a quarterback, you got to go work different throws. You got to go, sort of be aggressive from time to time. We'll work with those guys on when it's time to dial it back or when maybe a different decision should be made, or you could put the ball in a different part of the receiver's body. That's classic early training camp stuff that we'll keep working through. Anthony's talking through it with us. He'll learn from it and get better. These things will happen, and we'll clean them up and get going.
Are mistakes something that you look forward to as a coach because they can be teaching points?
A little bit, yeah. You're not supposed to say that, but I just did. A little bit, absolutely. That's a great sort of understanding. We look to put our guys in positions where they have to grow. To do that, you have to make everything a little bit harder. So sometimes you might know that a defensive look is not ideal for a certain play. Well, gosh, this is not the coverage we want. Or, man, this blitz is going to be tough on this run play. But let's see how our guys handle it. Sometimes we handle it well, and there's growth from the players. Sometimes we don't, and we have to teach off of that. You don't want to have a mistake every single play, and you're teaching from a practice full of mistakes. But, yeah, if you have a perfect practice, you're probably not pushing your guys hard enough to improve. It's a great time of year to improve. So we do look forward to some of those things. It gives us something to coach, which hopefully keeps us around a little bit.